Here I stand in the Boston Common, normally full of green, full of life, full of energy. Yet today is full of ice and snow compacted on the middle of the Boston Common. Yes, what a great place to be in the middle of this Boston Common, Trinity Church behind me. What I can say is that people hate this nation. People blame this nation for doing all the things that are going wrong in the world, from terrorism to criminality to democratic political systems that are failing across the world. And they're blaming United States for getting involved in creating a more sensible and balanced society and a balanced democracy and a balanced political system. Yes, this great nation was born from real hardship, a real and gruesome past of the original indigenous population of this nation was totally eliminated from their own land, and the immigrants and the foreigners descended on this land, and they created this great nation, the great architecture, great sculptures, great history, great freedom of expression, great freedom of political understanding, great freedom of religious understanding, great freedom of religious movement, great freedom of tolerance, great freedom of independence, great freedom of everything what life is all about. The freedom does not come easy. It comes with great hardship and great pain, great suffering, great feeling of deception, deep feeling of struggle, deep feeling of utter devastation to human life. And that's how this great nation was born. The independence movement in Philadelphia, the signature of in the Delaware state, the signature of freedom, signature of legislative legal instruments were put in place for the great freedom of people. The people's freedom was born here through struggle, through cruelty, through hardship, through differences. And at one point they all came together and understood there was a great need for everyone else to embrace each other as one kind. And they managed to do that. They managed to achieve that here in the United States. Yes, they removed all of the indigenous and the landowners of this land and then introduced what they call the immigrant population who built this nation. Yes, this nation has nothing to be blamed of because the people who arrived here, the elite, I'm in Boston, one of the elite and the most sophisticated universities, most acclaimed universities, most well-known universities are based here in Cambridge, here in Massachusetts. And these people came from different lands of this planet Earth, the one land that we all live and born on. And we create what we call a desperate struggle to bring about independence, bring about democracy, bring about welfare and good, bring about what we call freedom. And what the people who came here, they've also came here with a purpose to become rich, to make an American dream. The American dream came with a great struggle for every single individual. But for some, it came quite easy because all they did was They stole what they had in their own land, in their own nations, and they came and bought a property here, one of the most expensive and influential properties that you could ever buy anywhere on the planet. Similarly, in New York, similarly places like in Miami, Florida, similarly places like the West Coast, a temperature, climate which is extremely good for anyone who has enough wealth to share themselves and be greedy and deceive their own nationalities, deceive their own nations, and destroy their own nations, destroy their own integral part of their nations, and give that information and then destroy it. And that's exactly what happened. So when we talk about anger against United States, it's nothing to do with United States. It's to do with the people who were born somewhere else on this planet. The Middle Eastern crisis, the Middle Eastern terrorism, or the global terrorism, and all these come from the people of their own kind, making their own people suffer and struggle and fight. Their own kind, a different tribal conflicts are created because of understanding of their differences, and creating an understanding of difference in between. You apply what we call the financial, the monetary advantage or the monetary gain by doing so. And this is extremely sad, because humans as we are totally managed and controlled and manipulated by the monetary function of this world. And we take United States as an example of that great creation. Yes, they had a long history of struggle before they arrived at this particular juncture with great history and great patience for tolerance, and great patience for freedom of expression, freedom of political expression, freedom of self-expression, freedom of religious expression. All that came because of a great and a very hard, long fight against all of those rights. But in the long way, they destroyed the true landowners of this nation, the true Americans, who particularly maybe look like me, but that's to be questioned. We all look the same inside us. Our exterior is just like these buildings. It differs, something characteristically different to every building that's created here, equally. Same with humans. There's no difference inside us. Inside that building gives shelter. Inside that church gives shelter. But the clarification or the definition of that building is put together by our thought, the creator, the architect, the visionary, and so on and so forth. So people, don't be fooled by your own greediness or the own greed that will cause such a disparity between your own nation as well as a nation's alongside you. What you need to create is amazing embracing culture and an embracing society as a whole going forward. We need to progress with collective togetherness instead of being selfish, disparity and fragmentation. Yes, I may be using quite a lot of words. Again, the language is very old. We don't find solutions by learning the same words right from our birth. Yesterday, as I was flying over here, I could see children as age of 6 months old to the adults of almost retired and elderly age is using an iPad, a technology. They're disengaged from society and one another. They're disengaged from communicating with one another and finding a language that can be communicated and be understood by all of us, and then find a new language, the language that we speak across the entire globe with so many different languages, all take us back to the same old excuse. Finding an excuse to destroy the life, destroy the way of life, destroy the freedom of expression, destroy the freedom of all things human, all things natural for human life. And why are we creating all this disparity? Why are we creating these differences? We shouldn't be. All what we should do is actually create an embracing and a gathered society, or the gatherness of a society as a whole. Generations fought for this. Generations lost their lives. Generations sacrificed their lives. Generations have fallen. We should not bring about weapons and military action against each other and nations and our human population of the world. We should bring about engaging in dialogue, engaging in feelings, engaging in our connectivity with one another, and see what we can arrive and see what we can achieve in life. A great nations like United States, take the example. The people who came here contributed all of the weaknesses of their entire nation to this nation, to build this nation, and deceive their own nationalities and their nation, and then destroyed it. And now we are blaming United States, and yet we're copying everything about United States. That goes on to say that we are copying about shopping malls, we are copying about the way of life, the style, the clothes that we wear, the jeans, the jackets, the shoes, the Nike, everything to do with the iPhones, the iPads. Yet we're blaming this nation. We're using their instruments. We're using their creation. We're using the creation of the people who came from different parts of the world with different ideas. And they put all together and then build this amazing nation. And we're blaming, we're pointing the finger at this nation. No, we must point the finger at our own failures for not doing anything about it. Finding excuses with our language is no excuse for us to find solutions. There's no excuse for us to go away from finding solutions, for saving our human population, saving our nations, saving our world, saving our cultures, saving our way of life, saving our freedom, all of that. We all had to come together to bring about that amazing life we've got. Don't blame this nation. Don't blame this nation of United States of America. Blame yourself. Blame if something has gone wrong in the country of birth or the place of birth where you came from. Don't blame that nation. Blame yourself for doing that. Because what you have done is actually deceived your nation, deceived your people, deceived your heritage, and you went on to destroy it by giving the inside information. Yes, United Nations is built and formed in New York. Yes, because the great nations, all the people of all the nations came here and gave all about their political weaknesses, gave inside information about the political difficulties in that country, gave all the inside information about the religious difficulties in that country. Yes, gave all the information about the differences between different groups of people, different minority groups of people. Gave information about how to manipulate those minority groups by using the difference of their cultural behavior, their mental behavior, their educational background, by depriving them or by condemning them or by destroying their way of value system, and manipulated them and got them to war, just like Afghanistan, just like Libya, just like Iran, just like Iraq, just like Syria, just like Jordan, just like before World War II, across Libya, Egypt, Syria, Europe, the differences in Europe, USSR broken into splinter groups, all those Eastern European countries, Yugoslavia, all those 9 nations that was built after one country, is because the elite of that country left. They left, and they left behind their own nation and gave their information about their own weaknesses in the political system and the corrupt attitude to life in that country. And all those people who gave information about, and then, yes, Europe got involved, United States got involved and bombed the entire Eastern Bloc, broke down in the Eastern Bloc. Today we have Ukraine as a situation in our hands because of differences created by their own people who left that country, a great nation. And today they're fighting a land that is going to be split. It's already been split. And they're destroying lives, they're destroying peace, they're destroying the way of life, they're destroying the entire region's peace. And it's an integral part of life. Why are we doing that? And why are we blaming? And why are we looking out for United States? Don't look out for United States, because the people who left those countries, who gave all the information about that country, have given and broken that nation of people's lives, broken because they wanted to be a president, prime minister of a minority group. They wanted to split that nation. There are nations that are split into more pieces than anything you could ever imagine, more than a bomb explosion of a split in a nation has created such a disparity, such a difference in the society, and an ever-increasing suffering for the humans. I'm going to leave you with all of these thoughts in this Boston Common. Last time I spoke about religion, why religion was brought upon us to make order and discipline and at the same time make money. Today I'm talking about how this great nation of United States have been blamed for everything that's gone wrong, but it has to be blamed for every individual who has come, born in a different land, come here to create this great nation. And we are taking examples of this great nation to build other nations. And they're finding solutions to try and apply that. But you can't do that. You can't do that by killing people. You can't do that by making people suffer, altering their way of life. You can't do that. Yes, you can't have United States in every nation. You cannot take examples of that. This nation has come a long way of 200-odd history with suffering and struggle and pain. We must not do that anymore. We have to stop blaming United States. We have to stop criticizing this nation. We have to stop criticizing this great example of life which has succeeded with a collective union. But at the same time, the landowners of this nation are nowhere to be seen. Not a single person who's walking around here is a Native American landowner. They've been killed, they've been slaughtered, they've been executed, they've been indiscriminately removed and unfairly removed from this land so many years ago. And they were put into a land of hard and hardship. And they still survived. And we are still continuing to go into those lands in the middle of central Midwest of United States to take their land away to make a better living for ours. We can't continue to do this to humans. We can't continue to carry on in this way. We got to stop, think, and be respectful for one another, care for one another, look after each other, and let's all be equally achieving the same goal: a life, a freedom, and a respect for each other on this amazing world that we have and what is left of. And we need to be very mindful of ourselves to continue to do that. And we need to stop blaming each other now.